Another episode of the Call of Duty Zombies comic book series is here. This is issue 3 out of 6, we are halfway there, and you are in store for a good issue today. It's quite the chunky issue, and there's just a lot of really good stuff in here. If you haven't seen the readings and breakdowns of the other issues yet, I'll link the playlist in an iCard for you to catch up on. I'm not going to keep you here too long because the last episode ended on a real cliffhanger, so we're going to be picking up right where we left off in the 3rd issue of the Call of Duty Zombies comics. A point of egress would be optimal. Russman thinks the Egghead wants to find a door. Where's the transdimensional aperture that will allow us to leave Stuhlinger? It's coming, it's coming. Yeah, well, it better hurry up because... so are they. Come on, come on. Misty lines up her shot against our infamous Nazi zombie friend. She has the zombie dead in her sights. Say bye-bye. And of course, the Nazi zombie in control would not die that easily. Another zombie jumped in front of the way. He's leading them. That's why they're acting smart. They're protecting him. Then Russman will give them something to protect from. Morrilton is prompting Stuhlinger to try and get his friend to open the portal, but Stuhlinger simply says that his friend isn't answering any of his calls right now. Perhaps if we give them this element? Are you insane? You can't reason with zombies? I can't reason with any of you. Nevertheless, I continue the attempt. He'll save us. This is not how I die. I'm useful. He needs me. A portal opens up. Finally. I told you! The group have a moment of relief as they head to the portal, but Morrilton seems distracted by something. Misty grabs him by his tie. You can gawk at these gadgets later, Morrilton. Now it's time to run. For some reason, the portal is staying open, as the never-ending horde of the undead starts spilling in. The group are blasting away at zombies, discussing their plans to get to a safe place, all the while being overwhelmed. Morrilton starts to book it. This way. Why should we listen to you? Is your supernatural communication system giving you any further instructions? No? Then this is the way. Help would be good. Russman is starting to feel like Stuhlinger's magic voice wants them to follow us. Victors are pushing back the flesh freaks as much as they can, splattering brains and blood everywhere. Meanwhile, the zombie in command seems to be hiding in cover. Morrilton is trying to offer help via this computer, but as he's about to, Misty just straight up says no. She continues laying into him, saying, "You were going to say that you think you can activate something to stop them, right? Well, the last time you tried that, we ended up with those zombies and those things. I think it highly unlikely that this will..."
Welcome to Zero Base. Please speak your access code now.
And we've got ghosts. German ghosts? Why is it talking like that? For those of you that don't know, this robot is Sofia, and if you don't know who Sofia is, she was a robot that Maxis made, and she's the one that helps you do the Gorod Krovi Easter egg. It's not a ghost, you idiot. It's some sort of holographic interface for the system that runs this lab. I would surmise this is based on a specific human, hence the feminine Teutonic theme.
Please speak your access code now.
Fascinating. What did you do, you creepy nerd jackass?
Access denied. Countermeasures activated.
A huge grid has came down, segregating Morrilton from the other 3. I told you. What did I tell you? The situation is well in hand. I think our circumstances have improved. How exactly? Observe. The zombies run into this grid to try and attack our survivors, and they are toasted by this grid of lasers. I mean, it's great, but we're kinda stuck here. Now that Morrilton has bought the group some time and some protection, he's gonna take full advantage of this to get the system to do what he wants it to do. Looks like Morrilton has another trick up his sleeve. The zombie in command sees what's going on here, and he doesn't like it. He starts sending in waves of the undead, as Misty starts unloading bullets into them. You don't need to do that. I want to do this. Besides, I'm testing a theory. As the meat munchers notice that the bullets are coming towards them, before throwing themselves at this grid, they act as meat shields, protecting this special zombie. He's the one. They're protecting him. He's the leader. leader. Meat sacks ain't got no leaders. They're mindless. That one isn't so...
Weapons detected. Activate countermeasures.
Oh crap. Marlton, we got a problem. On this panel here we have another cipher, and with the way that the ciphers are in this comic, it doesn't just say the one sentence or the one phrase in one panel. They're actually spread across different panels to make one cipher, so I'm gonna talk about these at the end, so don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the ciphers. If it was all there at once, I would quickly cover it, but if I'm having to keep reading out word by word, I don't want to keep starting and stopping, so let's continue. The door near them that was their route of escape has now been sealed shut by Sofia because she detected a threat. Marlton is trying frantically to fix the issue, with Sofia reminding him that he is not permitted. Stuhlinger is trying to open the door in a panic. There's always a way out. There's always a way out. Marlton! There's always a way out. Marlton! The door flies open and Stuhlinger falls over as he sits up holding his head and remarks, "I told you." Misty praises Marlton and then asks if he can deactivate any of the grids so he can get through the door with the others. "I believe so. I can deactivate one of the grids." And of course, because nothing ever seems to go right for the Victus crew, Marlton deactivated the wrong grid, and the zombie in command has a smug and devilish grin on his face. Go, 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 go! Misty, Stuhlinger, and Russman find themselves sprinting away for dear life from the zombies once again. Sofia questions Marlton as he's trying to fix the situation.
Full intelligence activated. Just what is it you believe you are doing?
Don't listen to the computer, just... Shit! Marlton is now on the run again as he deactivated the wrong grid for a second time. And Sofia is absolutely roasting the guy, saying that if he didn't deactivate that fence, the zombies wouldn't be chasing him. Not helpful.
Oh, I am very sorry. Did you think I was in the business of assisting intruders?
Victus are alive and relatively well as they are being chased by what looks to be an even bigger horde now. And they have no idea where they're going, they're just trying to get anywhere away from here. Alright. I am sick of running. Marlton is exhausted from the zombie killing with this fire axe, and Sofia continues to spit sarcasm at this poor guy. Marlton's looking at something on the map on a monitor as Sofia continues to follow him. Need to find it.
It would be a true shame if someone were to guide them toward intruders.
The rest of the group are still fleeing as they seem to be following some strange arrows on the walls. Great. The AI is leading the zombies to us. They then hit a locked door, and their solution is to just blow the door up completely. I've got to hand it to them though, it does work. Let's go. Well, holy crap. Misty, Russman and Stuhlinger then stumble upon a very open area, and this area may have some things in it that a lot of zombies players should recognize. At least one of these things you'll notice. There's a huge pile of scrap, and within that scrap we can see our mad lad Ted. He's returned. He's back with us once again. We can never ever escape Ted. He's always there. He's just here and I've got no idea why. In fact, I have no idea why any of this stuff is here. There's the weird ball in Moon that you have to hit around for the Easter egg, the lightning staff from Origins just poking out of the mound there, and also the Vril device from Black Ops 1. And then over to the right, just in the corner, you can make out that that is actually the shield that you build in Black Ops 3, with the little headlight on the top, the body of the shield itself, as well as the shape of the visor that you see out of. Now you're probably wondering how all of this got there, and to this day I don't think we've ever gotten an answer. I have no idea myself. I can only speculate and say that the Broken Arrow facility were collecting relics of importance. Maybe these were the same things from alternate timelines like world bleeding and everything that slipped through. Maybe a research team, like an expedition team for Broken Arrow, found these relics. I can only assume that Broken Arrow were just reverse engineering maybe, or experimenting with this stuff and researching it, and once they got what they needed and they were done with it, they just threw it out into this disposal bit. Regardless, it's a really cool Easter egg. Ted, let's give him a big rest in peace because he didn't exactly get the good ending. He's just chilling there with all of the rubbish and junk that is scattered around this place. These two iron trap doors start opening up as Misty and Stuhlinger are able to dive away before the gap gets too big. Unfortunately, Russman isn't so lucky. I got you. But who's got me? Meanwhile, Marlton is just having a crawl through the vents, just having to deal with Sophia's shit. Stupid, stupid AI. Marlton turns around and notices a green gas coming towards him.
Good luck with the chlorine gas.
Sophia sarcastically remarks. Marlton is now scurrying away with his trusty fire axe. Damn, damn, damn. The gas then blows up, launching Marlton out of the other side of the vent. As it may seem it had some sort of way of filtering the gas out. Can't have chlorine gas corroding your systems, can you?
I am a reasonable program. I am very sure we can discuss this.
Yes, you could keep me distracted while you task some other system to deal with me. Or Misty is holding on to Stuhlinger, who is holding on to Russman, who is holding on to the ledge, in a desperate attempt to try and pull him back up. How are you this heavy? It's the apocalypse. Russman can always find a good meal, unlike some people. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't make me drop you. It didn't taste like chicken. What Russman means by always being able to find a good meal, unlike some people, is a subtle nod to Stuhlinger being in the flesh, because Stuhlinger couldn't find a decent enough meal so he would eat humans. I mentioned this in the first episode, so I'm sure you know what the flesh is. Russman knows about the flesh, but I believe Marlton and Misty are completely unaware. In typical COD Zombies fashion, nothing is stopping these zombies from getting to their prey, as they begin jumping, not concerned as to whether or not they make it, and trying to get past this gap, even if it kills them. As the zombies are starting to gain on them, over the intercom, Marlton is talking. You should exit this room. Go left, and then right, and I would do so with haste, as I believe the security measures will reset shortly. Marlton, you're alive! The group begin to flee, asking about what happened to Sophia. What happened to the weird glowing German ghost? It wasn't... you know what? Never mind. It was a ghost. We had a calm and rational discussion with an axe. So, where are we going? Marlton is sat by a box that has a blue glow to it. We're going to need to smash that glass. This door won't hold them back for long. Abruptly, Marlton returns back to the group, and the group is reunited as he interjects Stuhlinger. I believe this is what we're here for. Whatever this device is, you don't know? You should try talking to a computer that has just had an axe lobotomy. Marlton explains that he found a device that seems to be designed for element 115, and it seems to need 4 living humans in order to activate it, which according to Marlton isn't really a coincidence. Yes, my friend says this is our purpose, that we are to activate it. Oh, now he has something to say. Well, whatever we're doing, best do it now. The horde are about to come in, so the group best get whatever this is over and done with. One of us at each of those stations. A needle comes and pricks everyone's arm. What the actual My friend says this is supposed to happen. The blood is how it knows we're human and not them. Now what? I believe we are about to see. There is a huge blinding light, and our characters look in shock. Holy crap, did we fix the world? And on to the next page, our loading screen is of course a reimagining of the infamous and very much mysterious Nacht den Toten loading screen. Oh my god. There's a lot, so let's start with the original Nacht den Toten loading screen and we shall go from there. Now first off, I'm going to address this one. There may be some confusion because people will say, well, Nacht actually starts with a cutscene and doesn't have a proper loading screen, and to that you would be wrong, and that is only because in the Black Ops 1 remake, there is this loading screen that you're seeing now. And for the longest time, it has baffled the whole community. No one knows what it means. The best I can do for this one is just point out this for reference, and then when we switch to the next one, we can then see the changes. So here we have a guy stood under a light. He's got like a shadow and stuff. It looks really ominous. The yellow eyes and stuff. It looks really cool. And the date is 1964. There's then a huge glowing beam of light, and this guy is sat with the boys, and they're all fascinated by the looks of it. 1959, we see a line of these scientists walk in, and we then see them all sat behind computers and monitors. This is also just as jarring. There's a zzz kind of noise, you know, like a buzzing kind of noise. And then we go to 1943, which is the earliest date on this loading screen, because it started at 1964, now it's at 1943, so they are going back in time by the looks of it. Very weird, and I don't know why, because in zombies, it seems like the only way you can properly go back in time is through doing the cycle again. You can't just choose to go back in time. And above the 1943 date, there is a guy, and he's just stood observing this warehouse full of crates, and it's got the good old hammer and sickle logo on it, and what is in these crates, I mean, I don't know. There's some that are meant for Cuba, as it's labeled on one of the boxes, and then for the final shot of this loading screen, there is a guy walking through a portal. He's like emerging from this portal, and it looks like a doorway, weirdly enough. Not like a teleporter that we're used to in zombies. We see all the numbers surrounding this silhouette, which is a huge giveaway here at the very least. If there's something we can take away from this loading screen that will make any bit of sense, it's that this man, this silhouette, this shadow man, if you will, could very well be the Pentagon thief. You know, Dr. Yuri Zavoyski, the guy that we fight in 5 that comes and takes your weapons, and goddamn, it's really annoying. Since the Pentagon thief has all of the numbers from the Black Ops 1 campaign, the red numbers that Mason keeps seeing floating around him, I just simply can't get any kind of good idea what is going on in this loading screen, especially as for why it's about Nachtdurntoten. I don't know why, because there is no mention of the map on this loading screen, so it just leads to a very confusing time. But to me, I think that these are the Russian scientists that we see in Ascension. It's some sort of reverse timeline, and the guy in the portal is the Pentagon thief. That's literally all I've got. More importantly, let's talk about this other loading screen. So here is the new one, and as I'm sure you've noticed, it is all completely different. This new one is still extremely confusing, but it makes a lot more sense. The only problem I see with it is that it doesn't connect at all to the Nachtdurntoten loading screen. Like, there is no relations to this here, other than it sharing similar looking panels, which to me means that it's probably just been forgotten about. Like, I don't think we're ever going to get an explanation for that previous loading screen, and it's just going to float around in the existence of unsolved zombies mysteries forever and ever. So what I'm saying is, it's probably a retcon. The first panel is 1914. We see a more zombie-ish looking figure. It's holding a baton, and this person seems to have barbed wire wrapped around them, almost like the Mob of the Dead zombies. I've got no idea why the date is 1914, but let's look past that for now. We then see a guy sat at his table with a candle and a little nameplate that, you know, you usually see head teachers and stuff have, and people that work in offices to show their name. Now, we can't see the name, but this looks like Stanley Ferguson's desk, the prison warden from Mob of the Dead. This is implied by the candle and everything, and the fact that it looks like there's a demonic explosion, if you will, like a ritual happening, because Stanley Ferguson, as we know, did that kind of stuff in Mob, and that's how the whole events of that started. The date then moves to 1933, and we see what I can assume is prisoners of Alcatraz, just marching up, probably going to grab some lunch at the canteen. I think it's clear that this is meant to be set in Mob of the Dead, and that these are the prisoners. Moving down, we can see 4 pods. They look like Der Eisendrache pods, like that's the vibe I got when I first saw them, and we know why these pods are here, and that's obviously because of Tag der Toten. This place is Mob of the Dead. It just adds up way too well, and the zzz buzzing noise has been replaced with a noise, like a humming noise. Don't get it twisted with a that was really yummy type of noise. It's important to note here that these comics came out a good few years ago now, and we now know the events of Black Ops 4, and when you take that into consideration, it adds up very well. I think that this noise, this humming noise, are these cryopods keeping the subjects frozen. Frozen until a certain set of people, but we'll get to them later, come and use them for their intended purpose. We see 1941 now. Instead of the warehouse full of stuff, this is clearly Alcatraz with someone looking at the cell blocks. And if you look next to them, you can see right there the end of one of those pods. Where have we seen pods that potentially cryofreeze people portal in Mob of the Dead before? Oh yeah, the secret lab that Richtofen has, which leads us to our final part of 1941. Instead of presumably the Pentagon thief coming through the portal, we can see what looks to be a different shaped portal, and that shape honestly almost looks like a ripped poster, like when the paper tears and it has that ripped look to it. And out step Primus. We can see Richtofen's hairstyle as the guy in the front by the looks of it, as well as Nikolai's helmet, and that's a dead giveaway right there that this definitely is Primus. Assuming this loading screen takes place in Mob of the Dead, they are coming in here and tearing down a poster to get to these cryo-frozen pods to release the subjects, and with the events of Black Ops 4 that we now know, does that ring a bell? In the Blood of the Dead intro, we see Primus rip through a poster in Alcatraz prison to get to these pods, and I believe that this whole loading screen is showing how Stanley Ferguson made a deal with the Shadow Man and put Alcatraz in the state it is. We see the cryopods keeping the subjects frozen, and the noise is the buzzing of the machines keeping them preserved. And then this is basically leading up to the events of Blood of the Dead, where Primus arrive and roll on the Blood of the Dead intro, and I'm sure that you know the rest. I'm just gonna roll through the ciphers very quickly because this video has gotten so long. The first cipher we have says, "Wisdom means little to the unwise." I'm assuming this is talking about the Chronorium again, because you could learn everything in the Chronorium and have that wisdom, but if you don't know what you're doing with that wisdom, if you don't know how to change the events of things, and you don't know how to get to those end destinations, you know, like the multiple endings and stuff like that, such as continuing the cycle or breaking it like we did in Tag the Totem, then you could have all of this knowledge and not really do anything with it, and be stuck in the same cycle like we were in Revelations again and again. As to what character it's specifically referring to, that is beyond me. The second cipher of this comic was solved by Reddit user Randomizer, and it reads, "There are many histories, many futures. Only one can prevail." This has been a strange one because we had a cipher saying Primus will fail, and then one that says Ultimus will prevail scattered around zombies. I couldn't tell you what maps they were from, but they were ciphers that we got. With all of these futures, these possible realities, the many histories that we had, all of the pasts, only one group, and I'm guessing this is about Primus or Ultimus, will prevail here. With the way Tag the Totem ended, it's a bit hard to say who prevailed. This is clearly something that Treyarch was setting up, but then was retconned, most likely because of the little time they had to do the ending they wanted to, and thus we got the Tag the Totem ending, where everyone kicked to the bucket. And the third and final cipher of this comic, solved by Reddit user Rich Killer, says many souls have been lost forever. Many more are at risk. The many souls I'm only assuming here is probably just everyone that has been sucked into that summoning key, because they get their soul put in there. And to name some off of the top of my head, there's all the Ultimus versions of Richtofen, Nikolai, Takeo, Dempsey, Maxis got put in the summoning key, and I'm sure just a bunch of random other people. This one's actually pretty vague, and I don't really think I have a good answer for this one. The many more at risk part being fairly obvious. I mean, the whole universe, in fact, the whole multiverse is at stake, and so that would be a lot of souls gone if the Apothicons and the Shadow Man got their own way. I'm gonna leave this video here today. This has been an absolutely insane one. It has been jam-packed with just a whole bunch of stuff, and it was great, and I really enjoyed it. If you enjoyed and you want to see more of this series, smash the like button. It'll let me know that you're all enjoying this. Comment your thoughts down below on this comic and what the loading screen might mean, and subscribe if you aren't already. Turn on the notification bell too to stay notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.